Down upon me, Jesus, you gotta help me to...
A child arrived just the other day. He came till eternity passes away.
Climbed a mountain and I turned around.
Stop. Just stop right there.
You think you've made peace with the 70s, don't you? You think it's just background noise from another lifetime.
But somewhere, between the first guitar note and the last chorus of any one of these 10 tracks, something in your chest goes quiet.
And the years? They just fall away.
That's not nostalgia. That's the truth catching up with you.
Let's go.
Number 10. America. Sister Goldenhair, 1975.
And I just can't live without you. Can't you see it in my...
Jerry Beckley was just watching Jackson Browne work, no grand plan. Brown's style was honest, a little depressing maybe, but genuine, and Beckley wanted that same feeling. George Martin produced it, and you can feel it in that warm, unhurried sound that fills a car on a Friday afternoon, especially when you've got nowhere important to be. You say it's soft rock, fine, but hear that opening riff, and tell me you don't feel 1975 somewhere in your body.
And a woman sure can be a friend of mine.
Number 9. Summer Breeze by Seals and Crofts, 1972. 2 years trying to get this feeling right. What finally cracked it open was a child's toy piano. That delicate high sound that makes the whole song feel like screen doors and cut grass and 6 o'clock light in July. Jim Seals said the jasmine wasn't just imagery. It was a direction, a way of staying grounded when the world pulls you sideways. You know what that jasmine smells like. It smells like the summer before everything got complicated. Number 8. Everything I Own by Bread, 1972.
The finest years I ever knew.
Most people think it's a breakup song. It isn't. David Gates wrote it for his father, who died in 1963 and never saw a single day of his son's success. The title came from a letter. Gates had sent his mother an orchid when he was flat broke, and his father wrote back that she'd give Gates anything she owned in return. His wife heard the finished song and cried immediately. She knew. Whole families fell silent in station wagons when this came on. Some already heading to a funeral. Nobody said a word. The song said everything. Number 7. Maggie May by Rod Stewart, 1971.
Back at school, I know I'll keep you amused.
Rod Stewart was 16. She was in her late 30s. The 1961 Beaulieu Jazz Festival. A decade later, he turned the whole honest, uncomfortable mess of it into 3 minutes of pure truth, and it was the B-side. DJs flipped the record because they couldn't leave it alone. Ray Jackson's mandolin was improvised, unrehearsed, perfect. No cymbals because they couldn't find any in the studio that day. What sounded like a problem became the heartbeat of a generation. You hear that mandolin, and you're back in late September. That in-between week when you feel something ending and you can't stop it.
Oh, no. You stole my heart, and that's what really hurt.
Where were you the first time one of any of these songs stopped you cold? Not just heard it, stopped you. A kitchen radio, a car with the windows down in August. Those aren't just memories, those are the coordinates of who you used to be. Drop them in the comments.
It was wreck my bed, and in the morning kick me in the head.
Number 6. Dust in the Wind by Kansas, 1977.
My eyes, only for a moment.
Cary Livgren was just practicing, running a finger-picking exercise. His wife heard it and said, "Make it a song." He nearly didn't show the band, too simple for a group that built songs like cathedrals. Then he read one line from a book of Native American poetry, "All we are is dust in the wind," and 15 minutes later it was done. This song doesn't find you when you're fine. It finds you in hospitals, in cars leaving cemeteries, in quiet rooms where something just ended.
All they are is dust in the wind. Say
Number 5. Baker Street by Gerry Rafferty, 1978.
light in your head and dead on your feet. Well, another crazy day.
3 years of legal hell after his band collapsed. Rafferty was sleeping on a friend's floor near Baker Street in London, drinking through an industry that had locked him out of everything he loved. Out of that misery came 8 bars of saxophone so instantly recognizable that people still stop moving when it comes on. The new morning in that final verse wasn't poetry. That was the actual morning the settlement arrived, and he could breathe again. You hear that saxophone and something in your chest that's been braced for impact finally lets go.
Say that it was so easy, but you're trying.
Here? Good. These songs have an address in your life, a specific room, a specific person, a version of you that doesn't exist anymore. Put it in the comments for the person scrolling at midnight who needs to know they're not alone.
In his place, he opens the door. He's got that look on his face, and he asks,
Number 4. Fire and Rain by James Taylor, 1970.
I just can't remember who to send it to.
His childhood friend Suzanne died by suicide while Taylor was in London recording his debut at Apple Records. His family kept it from him for 6 months so he could finish the record. He didn't know she was gone while the tape was rolling. The cello, the hollow drums, the way he says her name like he's still confused by it. This isn't a performance. This is a man mic'd up in his grief and pressed into vinyl. You felt this song in your sternum before. Don't tell me you haven't.
My time is at hand, and I won't make it.
Number 3. Landslide by Fleetwood Mac, 1975.
The mountain and I turned around and I saw my reflection.
Stevie Nicks was cleaning houses and waitressing to keep their dream alive when the industry had written them both off. She was in Aspen, staring at the Rocky Mountains the night before her father's open-heart surgery, understanding for the first time that her strong, steady father was mortal. That realization is in every note, because the truth doesn't age. Can the child within my heart rise above? You know the answer, and it costs you something every time you hear it.
Well, I've been afraid of changing.
Number 2. Time in a Bottle by Jim Croce, 1972.
Live every day till eternity passes away. Just a
The night his wife Ingrid told him she was pregnant with their son AJ, Croce sat down and wrote this. 3 jobs, no time, never enough money, and now a child coming who'd need all of him. The harpsichord was found sitting unused in the studio corner, left by someone else. Producer Tommy West put it on the track, and the whole song became something that sounded already half gone, already grieving itself. Croce died in a plane crash in September 1973, 8 days after the song appeared on television. He never knew it hit number 1. There never seems to be enough time. He wasn't writing a lyric.
would be empty except for the memory of how they were at.
Number 1. Cats in the Cradle by Harry Chapin, 1974.
The day he came to the world in the usual way, but there were planes to catch.
Sandy Chapin wrote the original poem about her first husband's neglect of his own father. Harry turned it into a song after his son Josh was born, realizing right there with a newborn in his arms that he was already making the same mistakes. He said later it scared him to death. He died in a car accident in 1981, never seeing Josh grow into the man the final verse describes. That nursery rhyme melody sounds safe. It isn't.
Just the other day, he said, thanks for the ball, Dad, come on, let's play, can you teach me to throw?
It's a clock. And around the second verse it stops being about Harry Chapin and starts being about you. 10 songs, 1 decade.
And a version of you that never really left.
Tell me in the comments, which one hit you the hardest tonight?
Crazy day, pass before my years I ever knew. Let's go.
Subscribe if you're not done remembering yet. New video every week.
I'll be right here, in the dark.
With the records.